Welcome to Shauna McNaspy from SkillsFirst, who will be doing a walkthrough of our partnership resources.
Awesome, thank you. I'm just going to get logged into my test account. So as I mentioned, if you want to go to this site directly and create your own account, it's skillsfirst.com/organizations/success-in-black. And I put that in the chat as well for those of you who are here live. And this is my test account. So when you arrive here, you'll have access to the full suite of tools on your own dashboard. And everything that you create here is going to be private by default. So you don't have to worry about anybody seeing things that aren't finished. And I would encourage you, if you have a resume already, we now have the option for you to upload and improve it for those of you who do have one, and your score that you put in the chat. If you weren't quite happy with it yet, we can make sure that you are really proud of the finished product. And you can also start fresh if you don't have a resume. But as you'll see here, this is the list of things you can do. So if you already have a great resume and you want to work on your cover letter or create an elevator pitch where you practice talking about yourself in 2 minutes or less, you can do that. You can create a portfolio with evidence of the things you've done in customer success. Practice for interviews. I saw someone in the chat mention that you really needed to get a little more confidence in your interview skills. That will help you do it. And then we've got career advice videos and assessments, but everything you create will be stored safely for you here if you want to come back to it at any time. And there's no limit to the number of items you can create or anything like that. So as we're going through, you don't have to save your questions to the end. Please just dive right in and ask me anything that comes to mind. So, for those of you who have a resume already, this upload resume option is going to allow you to put it into the system and edit it with our builder. And we're going to use AI to correct some of the common mistakes, like your margin size or fonts that are not readable by applicant tracking systems, all those kinds of things. So, for those of you, is everybody familiar with what applicant tracking systems are and what they do and kind of the obstacle they create for you in your resume creation process? If you have any questions about that, dive in, but I'll assume we're all kind of familiar with the robot scans that we go through as applicants. So if you would like to edit a sample, I also just wanted to point out that our software will let you first choose from 30 designs that are all applicant tracking system compatible. So no matter where you're uploading these, whether it's Indeed or a company's job board, these are going to be compatible with the software they're used to scan them. So choose anything you like. And then if you wanted to look through our sample library, we've got more than 600 resumes for you to browse, but I went ahead and created 2 that are specifically focused on customer success skills and jobs. So you'll see one for experienced and one for early career. You might want to pick a sample that matches your previous job if you're transitioning to customer success, but lots of things for you to choose from here. And then when you load this, you will see that you can click use the sample and it's going to let you edit the content to make it your own. So if you started with your existing resume, you would see a button here that says edit with builder. If you started from scratch, you would still see the edit button. You would just have a blank page as your starting place. But all the tools that I'm about to show you that are in the builder are going to be the same, no matter which path you've chosen to get here. So as you're editing this, it's going to break each section of your resume out onto its own tab. And I wanted to highlight a couple things you can do that I think are going to give you an advantage. As you scroll down, you'll see that we encourage you to put in a headline. So even if you don't have yet a customer success job in your work history section, you can still say that you're a certified customer success manager if you've taken a certification. Or you could just say customer success manager if you haven't. So this is more about your career identity than it is about your actual work history. And you can put whatever you like in this field that you think might draw attention to your qualifications. And then everywhere you see the examples button built in, you're going to have access to ChatGPT to support you. So you'll also see organization examples, and these are static ones that might be useful for you, but you don't have to use these if you don't want. The GPT examples are wonderful. So let's say that you have, let's see, let's go ahead and put customer success in and see what kind of headlines it gives us. And it'll take a few seconds for these to generate, so don't worry. So customer success expert, customer advocate. Here's another profile you could use even if you don't have customer success in your background just yet. Um, so save those and keep working through, but you'll notice that you don't have to worry about the formatting at all. That's all handled for you. Um, I think most folks spend about half their resume writing time, um, you know, trying to manage the formatting in Word, and you don't have to focus on that at all. So anywhere you see examples, take advantage of GPT and get some good ideas for things that you can say. Um, as you're working through though, I want to just point out that this little ellipse means that you can edit anything the sample came with or delete things that you don't want. And the experience section, one kind of cool thing is that let's say you're transitioning from a different industry into customer success. When you click the examples button here and you're working on your accomplishment statements, which I think is the hardest part of resume writing, you can put in your job title here, but you can also put your previous industry. So let's say you were an accounting intern was your last job, and you're transitioning to customer success. You don't have to just put one job title. You can put the job you previously held and the one you're transitioning to and click submit. And our engineers have made sure that the prompts that our system uses to communicate with GPT are going to get you really solid feedback and examples that are appropriate for resumes. So it's always going to start with strong action verbs. It's going to encourage you to put data points wherever you can, and it's going to keep them the right length, all kinds of neat things to kind of make it easier. But since I put that I was an accounting intern in my past job, it's going to focus on transferable skills from accounting that would be appropriate for a customer success role. So, for example, this one says developed and implemented a customer feedback system, resulting in a 15% improvement in overall customer satisfaction. So, when you're working on your resume, remember that it's a marketing document. You don't have to list everything that you did in your last job. List the things that would make you the best candidate for your next job. So, that would be my little word of encouragement for you for picking out what to say about yourself.
Shauna, there was a
And
question
then, yeah, go ahead.
in the chat. It says, does the GPT AI allow you to customize your resume for each company that you're applying to and allow you to tailor it accordingly?
Yeah, Erica, that is a great question. It does. So I think, let me just close this example so we can talk about that in more detail. So let's assume that we've finished this and we've saved it. All right, so I can preview my resume at any point and see how it's coming. But as you mentioned, tailoring the resume to each job posting is really critical, and it can be super time consuming. So what we do is we allow you to have this button called the clone button. If I do that, it's going to make an exact copy just like it sounds like it would do. And you'll get this lengthy name with the word clone at the end. Looks like I cloned mine more than once is the reason it says clone twice. And then I can rename it, just click the ellipsis and do I can do some sort of name that reminds me what I'm using this particular resume for and save it. And then as I'm working on my accomplishment statements, I can go ahead and tweak those based on that particular job posting. And there's a few other ways that we can use GPT to give ourselves a competitive advantage. I'll show you in just a second. But absolutely, anytime you want to create another resume and tailor it for a specific job posting, I think that's a great way to really stand out. And Clone Resume will allow you to do that. And while we're talking about that, let's just go ahead and head on over to Indeed for a second. And I'm going to grab a customer success job. Oopsie. And I'll show you what GPT can do to make you stand out even more. So let's see what we can grab here. Client success. We'll say that's close enough for our example. And it looks like it's at Relias. That seems like a good one. All right, so you want to scroll down till you get to the job responsibilities and copy this, and I'll show you how you can use it in our tool. So I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to head back. So let's say that we are trying to tailor this for this particular job we've found that's our dream job. And our resume is looking pretty good. We've used the examples button, and we want to make this even better. So we've got a couple things here, GPT and human review. So we'll start with the GPT option to get this in as good a shape as we can before we ask for human support. So the first thing is this AI scan. So this is going to review your entire document and give you a score. It's going to tell you where you can make some improvements, for example, in the level of detail in your bullet points. If you have used maybe an email address that doesn't sound professional, it'll point that out to you, or if you've forgotten your LinkedIn profile in your header. But here's what that will look like. So first step is just to get a general overview of how this resume is looking, and that's what the GPT scan will do for you. So I'll let you play with this on your own. I won't slow us down by reading this, but this is the first step into using GPT to make your resume even better. So the second tool that we have that our engineers have created is a skills gap analysis. And for this, we do need that job posting. So I'm going to paste in the job description that we got from Indeed just now. And what it's going to do is compare my resume to the job posting and tell me where there's alignment and where I have potential gaps in the eyes of the hiring manager. And it'll sometimes give me some tips and pointers about how I can get past those objections. So here's what this one looks like. It'll say, all right, hey, Shauna, here's your skills gap analysis. You have alignment because you've demonstrated that you have customer success experience. You have a gap because you don't have any experience listed that deals with healthcare or behavioral health. So what you'll find when you run these skills gap analysis tool here is that sometimes the gap is just because you forgot to put something in your resume that you could have bragged about. Sometimes really will be a gap, but you'll be prepared for talking about it if you get the chance to interview, or you can beef up some of the transferable skills points that you're making. So that's the skills gap analysis. And then the final thing that we offer with GPT is a keyword suggestion tool. And that's just like you would imagine. You paste in the job description and it'll tell you which words the applicant tracking system is going to be most likely searching for in your resume so that you can try to edit it and incorporate more keyword rich language to get past those screens. And let me see what kind of questions are coming up. Oh, Olivier, thanks for the comment about the skills gap analysis. It's new and I'm enjoying it too. I think it's great. Okay, awesome. So if you guys are hearing background noise at my house, I apologize. There's a little bit of a locust noise in the background. And I'm outside, so maybe not the best choice. All right, so next thing you can do. So let's say you've got your resume in really good shape and you've used all the GPT tools and you're ready to submit for human review. Some of the leadership of Success in Black are going to be available to look at your resume. Since it is a volunteer position, sometimes it takes a little time to get to it. But if you submit for human review, you can put a note in, let them know what your concerns are about your resume, and click submit. You'll get an email letting you know when that feedback is available. And it could be a markup of the resume, or it could be a quick video explaining some tips to make it better. But feel free to use the human review option once you've exhausted the resources with GPT. So that is the quick version of the resume builder. I think the real the real benefit comes from jumping in and experimenting it with yourself and uploading your own resume and seeing how you can polish it and make it better. But I do think it's going to save you significant time, and it's going to take care of all of those formatting details so you can just focus on telling your story and marketing yourself. But tell me what questions you have. Jump in.
I see Brittany has her hand raised. Brittany, you have a question?
Yeah, I have two. The first one is, can you speak to any privacy tips since the resume sometimes might have like your name, your address, your phone number, LinkedIn, and putting that into ChatGPT or GPT. Is there any
Yeah.
sort of you can give on that?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. And so when you click on the GPT tools, what you'll see is that there's a privacy notice that lets you better understand how we use the technology. And one thing you can do is you can create a version of your resume that has a fake name and personal data in it before you use the GPT scan, if you'd like to. So that's completely up to you, but we do put a little warning message to let you know kind of how that's going to work, and it will tell you that you are welcome to change your personal details before submission if you'd like to. Just put some placeholder data in there. Yeah, good question. What was your other question, Brittany?
The other one was, I noticed that there is a portfolio function. This might be a little specific, but do you have like examples of what people would include in a portfolio for customer success specifically?
It's a great question. And I don't think we have created a custom portfolio sample yet. Let me see. But here's the good news. We can customize anything in this tool that you would like. So if you have a portfolio that has gotten you some results and some interview requests, and you'd like to share that with the organization, we can take out all your personal data and just leave some placeholders with this as well, and you can make it accessible to others. So we have portfolio samples. Looks like we've got 56. None of these are yet focused on customer success specifically, but that's definitely something we can build. And if you're game for helping to do some of those things, I'd be happy to have your help.
Okay.
I will say though, I did create an interview that has customer success specific questions in it for you. So as you start to play with these tools, when you get down to the practice interview piece, we can build this out further, but there is one interview here that's customer success focused. And if you wanted to start that interview, what will happen is it'll allow you to read the question, and then when you're ready, you can add the answer, and you can get used to seeing yourself on camera and really review how your answers come across. And I think it's very, very helpful. Sometimes, for me at least, a little humbling, but very helpful. So feel free to record yourself here. And all of these are customer success focused. And if at some point somebody would like to volunteer to be a mock interviewer so that there's a video of a, head and shoulders shot of someone asking these questions with video and audio, that might enhance it further. But for now, the questions are there and you can record yourself, which is the most important aspect, I think, of getting comfortable interviewing.
Awesome. This is really, really helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, you're so welcome. And I think I put in, let's see, how many questions did I put? I put in 15 questions that I thought were really likely candidates for customer success interviews. But of course, we could build this library to um, to have for entry level, for experience, for those transitioning out of education jobs, whatever focus you would like to have. It's very, very quick and easy to customize our software to do that. So feel free. Oh, and if you go to an interview and you want to let the other folks in the organization know what the questions were that you were presented with, and you want to build that into our system, and name it after the company that you interviewed with, we can do all kinds of fun things to customize this. That one will definitely get you started. And then in addition to the one that's customer success focused that we have, there's the classic behavioral interview and the consulting interviews and all kinds of stuff. Even you decide to shift gears and go to dental school, we got you covered there too. But there's about 12,000 questions in the system and 1,000 interviews to explore. So feel free.
Anna,
And
did you?
then Yeah, go ahead.
Did you share the elevator pitch / recording tool?
Yeah, sure thing. So the elevator pitch is going to get you really comfortable with talking about yourself in 2 minutes or less. And it's also something that you could, so for the elevator pitch, you can use it for practice purposes, or you can use it to actually send to a potential employer that you're interested in. So you can browse pitches and scripts that you could use, or you can just jump right in. And forgive my typing and talking skills. And you can create as many of these as you want. So you can add a transcript and you can add a video. So if you want to start by writing, if you like to think in writing first, go ahead and add your transcript. Or if you want to just talk through your background and then add the transcript later, either order is fine. But this is going to be similar to the mock interview. It's just going to be you on camera, and there's no specific question that you have to answer. So when you're finished with it, you can click the share icon and you can give viewer permissions to anyone with the link, and you can paste this anywhere that you like. So let's say you were introduced to somebody on LinkedIn and you wanted to follow up with a video. Of course, if you have video tools of your own that you like, that's great, but we'll make this available to you for practice or for sharing with employers if you would like to do it that way. So it can be kind of a neat way to express your interest and take an extra step that others might not. And then the last thing I wanted to point out is that if some of you are trying to advance in customer success and you really need to show proof of customer success plans and journey maps and things that would make it obvious that you're a shoe-in for the job, feel free to make a portfolio. And I was sharing with the leadership that this is a little different from a website. So it's gonna be a great safe place to put your files. And you can decide whether you want it to be a gallery or a list view, that kind of thing. It's not going to have some of the fancy graphic design elements that you would see on a website like you built with Wix if you have graphic design experience. But I think from the employer's perspective, just having you send a list of documents that you've made, or videos of you doing demos, that kind of thing. I don't think they care as much about the website elements as they do seeing your actual content. And this is a really quick and easy way to do that so that you won't have any, there's no reason not to do it. I feel like with building a website, that can be a big hurdle. But this, you just choose your files, drag and drop or upload them. And then again, you can choose the way that things are displayed, whether it's carousel, gallery, or list. And then you can grab a link and share it with anybody that you like for feedback or actually with an employer to make an impression. So anytime you want to get back to your main page, it's just the top right and profile. And you'll see that there's a guide here if you get stuck with anything. I'm also going to put my email in the chat. And you are welcome to reach out if you run into any issues. And again, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn as well. We can keep the conversation going. And I saw a few of you in the chat said that you were open to volunteering to create mock interviews. And that makes me super happy. The more of you all there is in this tool, the better the experience is going to be for success in Black members. And I think that's where the platform really shines, is in allowing people to make those customizations to get exactly what you need from the tools. But for those of you who gave a score of your resume that left some room for improvement in your mind, I am eager to see what you think of the results once you start using our builder. Again, if you have one already, do upload and give it a name, save it, and just browse around your computer to grab it. Upload. And let me see if I have an example that we can use. Super, super easy. There's one. There's a fake resume. So let me open that one. I'll show you what that process would look like. And then at the, if we have just a minute, I'm going to make sure that everybody has a chance to visit the site and make sure you get a login if you don't have one, or that your login works, so that you'll be ready to be off and running. While that's uploading, any questions I can answer for you guys?
Olivier has his hand up. I'm going to
Yeah,
direct him.
first off, thank you, Shauna, for this great demo, and then showing over the whole SkillsFirst platform. I think something that caught my attention is a portfolio building that I will start using because, for my next step, I would like to shoot for the principal CSM, role in my company. And after a conversation with my managers, to start gathering evidence of my work and my achievements.
Awesome.
So we have an internal doc, but that's company related. So I will have to create one, of the company, because let's say I found a principal role somewhere else that I'm interested in. I don't want to use my Google Docs for my company. So using the portfolio SkillsFirst one would be actually a great way to start documenting my achievement. Of course, I can still use my company ones, but I'll duplicate here. So that's something that caught my attention. Second
Awesome.
thing. Thank you. Yeah. And not to put James on the spot, but James recently got a role as a CSM. Congratulations again, James. And I was wondering, did you use SkillsFirst for your resume at all? I know, you're one of the first users, so not to put you on the spot, James, if you're comfortable, but did you use SkillsFirst at all for the resume leading up to this new role you just landed? If you would like to.
No, I didn't. I wish I had. Looking at this would have been amazing, especially the AI portion of getting feedback, real-time feedback on where my skills gaps are. Yeah, this would have been amazing. I was actually just thinking while Shauna was going through it, I wish I had done this. Maybe it would have saved me. I know it would have saved me a lot of time, and maybe I would have gotten a job quicker. But yeah, I definitely would have used it, and I still am excited to use it going forward. There's still some applications like the portfolio that you mentioned that I can still do, even if I'm not actively looking for a job right now.
Oh, a promotion, so senior CSM, but
Yeah.
still, congratulations again.
Exactly.
Yeah. Olivia, I think you make a really good point about the portfolio and ownership of the things that you're doing and keeping track of it on your own. And Sean and I were talking about this before. I ascribe to a philosophy: you don't have to get ready if you stay ready. So there are a lot of us that have jobs, but we also know that we're in a volatile time and market, or we might see that next job that we want. And if we can go ahead and advance and be using these tools to stay up to date, we're ready to apply. I know sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't want to apply for that job because I got to get my resume ready. And so it's like, here's a way to make sure that everybody's all brushed up and shiny and new and ready to go.
One advice my own manager gave me is that always continue to update your resume. Like, if it's comfortable and if it's great company, so if I'm working at, always every achievement that you accomplish, log it, because you just never know. Like, everything is good now, but tomorrow I can log on and then they will tell me this is my last day. You never know, so continue to update your portfolio, update your skills. But yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Sean.
Exactly. And speaking of promotions too, if you have had a promotion at a single company, our resume builder will also let you change the section format so that you have the organization only listed once and then your roles nested underneath that to show that you advanced. And a lot of resume builders won't let you do that. So I'm really happy that that option exists. So feel free to change the section format if that situation applies to you. And Olivia, I like your idea of keeping everything in your portfolio handy. Even if you decide later that you do want to take the extra step of doing a full website, all your files will be stored someplace safely and they'll be ready for you in a place that's yours, as you said, instead of a company folder. And so if you are short on time and you don't have time to make a website, again, this is a very serviceable portfolio that I think will make a good impression if you decide to use it directly with an employer as well. But great place for safekeeping things as well.
Absolutely, thank you. And I think Brittany has a hand raised.
Sorry, I have one more question. I think this will be helpful for those of us who are transitioned into CS. is there a way to format, and sorry if we've already covered this, but is there a way to format it if you have a job in CS, but your previous experience is in another, you've had several roles within another sort of industry? How would you suggest like formatting that within your resume?
So if your current job is in customer success or related, but the previous jobs weren't, was that the situation, Brittany?
Yeah, correct. Mhm.
Yeah, so I think what I would do is I would just remember to think of it as a marketing document. And I hope I'm not running over time. Please interrupt me if I'm taking too much time, guys. But um, I took a resume writing class just for fun with Jenny Foss on her LinkedIn class, and she's amazing. And she made a couple points that I think are important to this discussion about your previous work history not being in customer success. And one of those is that your job title is negotiable. So let's say that your job title at your last company was customer support and not customer success, but you ended up being roped into all kinds of things that were customer success related. Your responsibilities really did include things that were customer success. If you wanted to tweak your job title and make it customer support and success, as long as it's true that you did those kinds of things, even if your company didn't call you that, Jenny Foss would say that is completely acceptable. So I want to encourage you to be, of course, accurate and honest, but to remember that it's okay to market yourself and to play with the job title a little bit. So that's one thing. The second thing is in your work history, I would just say when you're editing that job, so this one, for example, this was an SDR, so they were working in sales and making lots of cold calls. What I would do is if I didn't feel I could tweak this job title at all because I really did focus exclusively on this job title and not customer success, when I go to the examples button though, I would say sales development representative transitioning to customer success. And that will allow GPT to help you brainstorm ways in which your work as a sales development rep aligned with the duties and responsibilities that you would have as a customer success person. And I would focus on those bullet points first. So remember, you don't have to list everything you did on the job. It's what you did on the job that's relevant to your next job. So they generated qualified leads, etc. These are going to help dial it in a little bit to more customer success focused things. It could even be, even if it was a barista transitioning to customer success. GPT is so good at coming up with ways where there's overlap that you will find some ways that you can talk about your previous work experience that will really shine for your next job in customer success.
Thank
We
you.
talk about customer retention here, increase in business. Did that answer your question, Brittany?
It did. I think it's probably, it's specific to everyone. Like, for example, I spent 8 years in corporate retail and left as a brand manager.
Right.
And so like my resume now is just very long because I've like had all those jobs and then I transitioned into CS. So I guess I was just wondering, like, would I just have one sort of header saying that I used to be in product development and brand management and then go into my customer success instead of listing out all my previous roles?
I think, are you thinking like you don't have to go back through your entire work history if it's really, really long.
Yeah.
You could start to think about strategically, like how far back do I really need to go? That would be one question that you could start to think about. I don't think that you need to go back through your entire history.
Okay.
So if you want to shorten it and just go back for the last, 8 years or something, I think that's okay, certainly okay to do. And then in your profile section, that's another place where if you decide that you want to start your resume with your name and then a quick summary of yourself at the top in this profile section, that's another place where I would try to get strategic with the language that you use and focusing on what you want to do next and the experience you have that applies to that. You don't have to explain that you have this lengthy history that's in a different industry. You don't owe them that. That's share as much of that as you think is strategic to share.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate it.
And I think
Yeah,
Shauna,
and if
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Keishla. Yeah, you may have some good tips there too.
No, I was just going to say, reframing back to what you said as a resume, as a marketing document. You know, if we were making a marketing document for a product, we wouldn't put everything on that marketing piece. It's about, you know, how you're helping to focus your attention. Additionally, I know there's a lot of, you know, schools have thought about resumes is, do you list your skill sets as aligned to jobs, or do you list it as aligned to categories of skills? So I think you can have a lot of flexibility, and just list your sort of chronological history separate in a section. So I don't know that there's necessarily a one size fits all in how you might want to approach it, depending on the role you're trying to do and what your particular situation is. Does that sound fair,
Yeah,
Shauna?
you could. I think that's absolutely fair. And if you wanted to put a skills section closer to the top because you feel that based on the job posting, the technical skills are really going to be important to that hiring manager, then just reorder your sections and you know, move it around and start to think about how you can grab their attention. And of course, we all know, we hear those statistics about how many seconds they look at the resume, and it is true, it's really brief. So put the most important, most compelling facts right at the top if you can, based on what you're seeing in the job description, what you suspect is going to be the most important. And I do like I like the profile section at the top as a quick summary. I see a lot of people make this really, really long. I think if you can do, you know, 3 sentences or fewer and put some data in it, even better. You don't want big blocks of text.
Yeah.
For sure. I saw an article from I think it was a Google CEO today, was talking about like that's his pet peeve is blocks of text. So it's like, ouch. Whew. Sometimes you feel like there's so many requirements, right? But yeah, I think do a couple different versions, see which one you like, or submit it for review and get some feedback from somebody else about how it comes across. But I think you're absolutely on the right track, Brittany, and I'm not worried. I think it's great that you have all that experience.
Absolutely. Well, Shauna, thank you so much for coming to our call. I know we're a couple of minutes over. I'd love to, we can get a confirmation. Who all signed up for a SkillsFirst account? Give me a reaction or a chat or something. Yeah. Did you make your account? I can see the uptick a little bit in there, but please make sure I shared the instructions a couple of times. They're also in our Slack channel to guide you. And then Olivier, I would definitely think that we should be seeing some posts coming from you about how they can get engaged with Shauna around potentially helping to build out some of the spaces here around like some recordings and things like that. Does that sound appropriate?
That sounds appropriate. And what I'll probably do, I know we posted on this chat, but for the larger group that didn't join, I'll repost again all the instruction in a new thread and in Slack. So please talk to a teammate that were not able to join to sign up. And I think what we'll do, Shauna is always happy to send us stats about the stat of people joining, and we would like to see those increase. And again, it's a great tool. Personally, what I'm going to start using is the portfolio piece for my career growth. But anyone else, everybody else, we should use the resume building and anything else. And again, Shauna, again, always a pleasure. Thank you for joining us. And I'll kick it over to Keishla and Shauna for the last word.
Absolutely. So yeah, we've got all the links shared. We'll also be following up with the recording of this session for anybody that missed it, or if you need to hear it again. As Shauna mentioned, inside, once you get signed up, there's a guide. It seems pretty intuitive. She walked me through earlier this week, but also knowing that the support email is there for you. And Shauna will make sure to share that internally with our communities for anybody that has anything. So thank you, first of all, for persevering through technology and joining us.
Thank you for being my tech support. Oh my gosh, I don't know what I would have done without you today. It's such a weird feeling when your internet doesn't work. So thank you guys for your patience with me and for all your help.
Love it. You guys have a great day.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Thanks.